Hello, welcome to another episode of Child Abuse Awareness for Darlene J. Clark. Be a part of the solution. Please like, subscribe, and share to the channel. Please be sure to comment. I hope everyone's having a great day today. So today we're discussing about Angelina Belinda Calderon, 21 years old, and Fernando Vega, 21-year-old, from Texas. They were charged in the deaths of their infant twins, which happened back in October. Alright, yes, it's going to be a video, so I'll make sure to do the video before so I'm going to change my settings. You will not be able to hear me first. Audio.
Father and mother are accused of the unthinkable. Police say they beat their 5-week-old twin daughters to death. It happened last October, but the parents were just arrested yesterday. ABC 13's Luke Jones is live outside the Harris County Jail with what he's learned tonight. Luke?
And Tom, police are basing these charges on the results of an autopsy which revealed multiple bruises and fractures. They concluded the kids were hit repeatedly with some sort of blunt object. But tonight, relatives of the little girl's mother says police should be focusing all of their attention on the girl's dad. A week after her twin daughter's deaths, Angelina Calderon started a GoFundMe account and raised over $1,200. But now police say she and the girl's dad, Fernando Vega, were responsible for their deaths.
I mean, it's horrifying. It's horrifying. I couldn't imagine.
Just 5 weeks old, the girls Misael and Marina were found dead at their Southeast Houston home October 4th. According to charging documents, their skin was discolored, they had multiple bruises, and one girl had fractures. An autopsy concluded they died from multiple blunt force injuries.
It kind of, touches my heart to have two little kids like that. I mean, they'll be murdered by their parents is not good.
At the time, the girl's dad claimed he left them with his grandmother while taking their mother to work. He told police he came home 30 minutes later to find them motionless in their bassinet and that he and another family member tried doing CPR.
I mean, two innocent children.
But Calderon's grandmother tells us her granddaughter is also innocent, and Calderon's sister describes her as one of the best mothers she knows. She says the day the twins died, her sister was at work and told her later through tears, "I don't know what he did to them." Multiple family members say Vega was abusive toward Calderon, and 2 weeks ago, he was arrested for unlawfully restraining her. But Calderon's aunt says she should be held to account for what else investigators found. Both girls malnourished, and some of their injuries days or even weeks old. Luke Jones, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
This is horrific news, knowing these two children lost their lives senselessly. I'm going to try to see if I can find some of that documentation on these Houston parents. That's where this happened. Charges has been filed against a man and a woman. Let me share the screen again. Share the screen again. Charges have been filed against a man and a woman in connection to the death of twin infants back in October 2023, according to court documents. This is Houston parents charged in connection to twin baby girls' death, documents say. The 5-week-old babies died from injuries caused by a blunt object, according to the autopsy. So, charges have been filed against a man and woman in connection to the death of twin infants back in October 2023, according to court documents. Angelina Belinda Calderon and Fernando Vega, both 21 years of age, are charged with 2 counts, each of injury to a child, serious bodily injury. ABC Houston affiliate KTRK originally reported on this story on October the 4th, 2023. Houston Police Department patrol officers responded to a home in the 2100 block of Linden Creek Lane regarding 2 infants which relatives identify as Michelle and Marina Vega, who were found unresponsive. According to documents, the children's father, identified as Vega, found them in their crib, not breathing. While on the phone with dispatch, Vega was given instructions on how to perform CPR, but the twins, who were born prematurely, did not survive. Vega, in an interview with police, said the twins were fussy throughout the night, and he put them in the bassinet where they had fallen asleep. The children's mother, identified as Calderon, said she saw the babies the following day and didn't wake them because she was on her way to work, documents said. Vega then took Calderon to work before returning home, where he found the twins. Officials said the babies were 5 weeks old. Police said the children were found laying on the sofa with discolored skin and multiple bruises and contusions. One child had multiple fractures. An autopsy determined the children died from multiple injuries caused by a blunt object. It was also found that the twins hadn't received checkups since being released from the hospital, charging documents said. Calderon then told police the twins had been sick, but they did not seek medical care. I'm sorry you keep getting kicked off. I'm glad you're back. I was wondering what was going on. Calderon's sister, okay, it said further investigation revealed Calderon and Vega as suspects who were both arrested on Friday, April the 19th without incident. Calderon's sister told Eyewitness News she's one of the best mothers that I know and said her sister was at work the day the children died. Later that day, she said the sister exclaimed through tears, "I don't know what he did to them." Multiple family members tell Eyewitness News that Vega was abusive towards Calderon. 2 weeks ago, court documents show he was arrested for unlawfully restraining her. While Calderon's aunt doesn't believe she physically harmed the children, she does think she should be held accountable for what else investigators found. Police say both girls were malnourished and that some of their injuries were days or even weeks old. Hey, good to see y'all both. Good to see you. So these twin girls were born prematurely and malnourished. That means they weren't getting fed right. Father claims they were cranky and fussy. The mother claims she didn't wake them before she went to work. I would have fed my kids, you know. You know what I'm saying? Miss you both as well. Thanks for coming in here. This is a situation, y'all. When it showed in here, I'll replay this video and pay attention to the list that pay attention to this list again, what it did, okay? I'll mute myself so that you can see the list when it shows. Okay, pay very attention to the right side of the screen, okay? And let me get to the settings. I might have to restart the page just in case it might try to go to a different story. I don't know. Cancellation. Let's see. Hey, guess what? I did it on the wrong one. Here, let's make sure that this is going to do that. I'm on two different laptops. Sorry about that.
They beat their 5-week father and mother accused of the unthinkable. Police say they beat their 5-week-old twin daughters to death. It happened last October, but the parents were just arrested yesterday. ABC 13's Luke Jones is live outside the Harris County Jail with what he's learned tonight. Luke?
And Tom, police are basing these charges on the results of an autopsy which revealed multiple bruises and fractures. They concluded the kids were hit repeatedly with some sort of blunt object. But tonight, relatives of the little girl's mother says police should be focusing all of their attention on the girl's dad. A week after her twin daughter's deaths, Angelina Calderon started a GoFundMe account and raised over $1,200. But now police say she and the girl's dad, Fernando Vega, were responsible for their deaths.
I mean, it's horrifying. It's horrifying. I couldn't imagine.
Just 5 weeks old, the girls Misael and Marina were found dead at their Southeast Houston home October 4th. According to charging documents, their skin was discolored, they had multiple bruises, and one girl had fractures. An autopsy concluded they died from multiple blunt force injuries.
It kind of, touches my heart to have two little kids like that. I mean, they'll be murdered by their parents is not good.
At the time, the girl's dad claimed he left them with his grandmother while taking their mother to work. He told police he came home 30 minutes later to find them motionless in their bassinet and that he and another family member tried doing CPR.
I mean, two innocent children.
But Calderon's grandmother tells us her granddaughter is also innocent, and Calderon's sister describes her as one of the best mothers she knows. She says the day the twins died, her sister was at work and told her later through tears, "I don't know what he did to them." Multiple family members say Vega was abusive toward Calderon, and 2 weeks ago, he was arrested for unlawfully restraining her. But Calderon's aunt says she should be held to account for what else investigators found. Both girls malnourished, and some of their injuries days or even weeks old. Luke Jones, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
That's pretty crappy, y'all. That's horrendous. 2 infants. Did y'all see a lot of that, the injuries that it was showing on the babies? Did y'all see? I'm going to see if I can find anything that's got the list of the injuries, but they might not want us to have it all, you know what I mean? I'll try to see if I can find anything, but it was horrific what it was showing. Okay. Twins. That's why I kept trying to figure it out, like I would like that list. It said, what an autopsy revealed. Sorry about that. See if it says, thanks. Trying to get me to allow something I don't want to allow here. Okay, I am going to go ahead and turn this back on. Can y'all hear me okay? Yeah, it scrolled too fast to see, and that's why I was looking for something else, trying to find something else right quick. So I'm fixing to go ahead and change the settings and mute my camera. My mic, sorry.
Good afternoon. I'm Sherman Chow. Just hours ago, a mother and father appeared in court 6 months after their twin infants were found dead in their Southeast Houston home. Both parents now charged with 2 counts of serious bodily injury to a child. And prosecutors say that those charges could be upgraded. Stephanie Whitfield was in the courtroom this morning, and we want to warn you, details of this case are disturbing.
These babies were just 6 weeks old when they died. Now both of their parents are behind bars. The young woman, the young mother, clearly emotional, holding back tears in court. Prosecutors say 21-year-old Fernando Vega was with the babies the day they died. He told investigators they were fussy. Vega reportedly left them with a relative to take the mom, 21-year-old Angelina Calderon, to work. Prosecutors say he claims when he got home, the babies were dead. But now investigators say those infants' bodies showed signs of long-term physical abuse. They were also severely malnourished. Calderon let her attorney do the talking today, but it was a very different story when she appeared in probable cause court over the weekend. She was forced to leave the courtroom after a profanity-laced outburst.
I don't care. Stop shushing me, because you know that you was the last one with my kids when they died. Stop shushing me. Ma'am. I don't care. I don't care. You're making me look like I'm a bad person. I don't care. I was at work when they died. Getting abused by
Calderon's attorney didn't comment after court today, but Vega's attorney told us he's scared about the possibility of spending the rest of his life in prison if convicted. Both parents are now being held on a $1.5 million bond. Their defense attorneys asked for that bond amount to be lowered, so separate hearings were set for each suspect. At the criminal courthouse, Stephanie Whitfield, KHOU 11 News.
That pathetic, y'all. But here, they said in Houston, try to get that over there. Okay. Mother and father appeared in court Monday morning, 6 months after their twin infants were found dead in the southeast Houston home. Some of the details of the story are graphic and may be disturbing to readers. Angelina Belinda Calderon, 21, and Fernando Vega, 21, both faced 2 counts of injury to a child, serious bodily injury, according to Houston Police Department. They were arrested on Friday. During an appearance in probable cause court over the weekend, Calderon was forced to leave the courtroom after a profanity-laced outburst. Stop shushing me. I don't care. I don't care. You're making me look like a bad person. I don't blank care. I was at work when they died. He blank killed my baby, she said. Calderon's attorneys didn't comment at the court on Monday. According to court documents, Vega told police he left the children in his grandmother's care the morning of October the 4th, 2023, to take Calderon to work at around 10:30 a.m. When he returned home, he found the children unresponsive and called Calderon saying, "They're not waking up. They're not doing nothing," before calling 911. What? Why did you call 911 first? What about the relative that was there? If there was supposedly a relative right there. What about that relative right there, right? Oh boy. Charging documents show the 911 call was made at 11:08 a.m. Vega told officers that he and another family member attempted CPR while waiting for help to arrive. The twins were pronounced dead at 11:22 a.m. Look how beautiful these 2 babies were. Vega told investigators that he was the last one to see the kids alive around 5 a.m. or 6 a.m., according to charging documents. Initially, police said there was no visible signs of trauma. On Saturday, April the 20th, HPD said an autopsy determined that the infant suffered blunt force trauma. Court documents detail some of the autopsy's findings, including that x-rays found multiple fractures, included to the left femur, the ribs, and clavicle of one of the infants. The doctors who performed the autopsy noted that the injuries appeared to be a mix of new and old, some possibly being weeks old. The rib fractures were not consistent with chest compressions from CPR, the court documents read. The other child had similar injuries as well as frontal head fracture. Both infants were found to be malnourished and dehydrated, so they were not being fed either. The court documents say the doctors determined that the injuries were likely to have come from 3 separate incidents. Just 5 months old, he abused the wife as well. The cause of death was determined to be multiple blunt force injuries, according to the charging documents. Both children have suffered brain injuries. So now I guess he's trying to blame the person that was with him, you know? Of course, he's trying to blame that other relative. Medical examiners also found both babies were malnourished and dehydrated. Vegas's attorney said he's scared about the possibility of spending the rest of his life in prison if convicted. You should be afraid of the death penalty. Why didn't you take better care of your kids? You should have thought about that before you stopped, didn't feed your kids, before these injuries to the kids. Also, even if you knew somebody else harmed your kids, you're responsible. You should have took them to get the medical attention they needed. I don't care if it was some person living with you, the person that's doing childcare or whatever, whomever. Both of y'all are responsible. Why did the mother had to know about these babies not being fed right. The mother had to know about the babies being injured from the injuries. Both parents are now being held on $1.5 million bond. Defense attorneys asked for that bond amount to be lowered, so separate hearings were set for each suspect. Here is the media briefing given the day the twins were found dead. But of course, back then they didn't think it appeared to be um, caused due to abuse or whatever. So let me go ahead and change it back where y'all could hear the.
We received a call through HFD at 11:17 in regards to infants not breathing at the 2100 block of Linden Creek Lane. The father checked on the 1-month-old twins and found them unresponsive. He called 911. The dispatcher was able to provide CPR instructions. The 1-month-old twins and found them unresponsive. He called 911. The dispatcher was able to provide CPR instructions. The father provided aid until the ambulance arrived. Unfortunately, the twins did not survive. This is a very, very tragic, very heartbreaking scene. Obviously, the family is devastated. Our hearts and prayers go out to the family. Do want to let everybody know there were no visible signs of trauma. At this time, the family is requesting privacy as they grieve. In all infant deaths, it's protocol that we investigate pending the medical examiner's findings. And that's really all we have here. Like I said, the family really, really wants their privacy. Please, let's respect that. Continue the prayers. Once again, this was a very difficult scene for the family. Very, very devastated. So thank y'all for coming out. Thank you for your time. And once again, let's keep the family in our prayers.
Based off of the fact that there were 2 babies found, I know you said there are no visible signs of foul play, but could it indicate that they might have gotten a hold of something or been exposed to some sort of gas or chemical that could have led to this, or are we still
They were in a crib, and once again, we're gonna rely on the medical examiner's findings, depending on what the autopsy shows, the results, and then we'll go from there.
Are they males or females? Or?
I don't know.
Months?
1-month-old.
They were believed to be sleeping, and they were just being checked on during their nap.
They had just been fed. I believe the father went to drop off the wife, and the grandmother was watching them. And when he came, he just found him unresponsive, and immediately he called 911.
Can you talk a little bit about the person who was taken in for questioning?
They're not questioning. It's just protocol. Once again, it's every time an infant dies, we do the investigation to make sure everything is proper, pending the medical examiners. So nobody was arrested. Everybody's just to verify the facts so it can match up with the findings, and then really that's about it. Everything seems natural. There didn't seem any foul play. It doesn't look like that. Once again, the family is devastated. Looks like they're very, very caring family. Once again, this just was a difficult scene.
Could you describe who was at home at the time? I know you said the grandmother.
The grandparents were there, and once again, other family members, but I'm not sure.
Any other questions before we go to Spanish? Chief, Spanish?
Spanish, okay. Soy asistente Patricia Cantú con el Departamento de Policía. Aquí tengo comandante Coleman del East Side Division. Recibimos una llamada a través de los bomberos al respeto a los bebés que no estaban respirando a la cuadra de 2100 de la Linden Creek Lane. Nos dicen que el padre fue a revisar a los gemelos de 1 mes y los encontró en la cuna y no estaban respirando. Llamó al 911. El despacho le dio instrucciones para dar ayuda médico. El padre les brindó ayuda hasta que llegó la ambulancia. Desgraciadamente, los gemelos no sobrevivieron. Esta escena fue muy difícil. Estamos pidiendo que todos oren para la familia, los corazones y las oraciones estén con la familia. No hubo signos visibles de trauma. En todas las muertes infantiles es protógalo para investigar hasta que el médico de forenses dan sus resultados. Y la familia sí quiere su privacidad, por favor, solamente les pido las oraciones. Estoy diciendo que la familia está bien herida. Esto es bien difícil para todos, pero especialmente para la familia. Y también le estoy pidiendo, por favor, que respeten la privacidad de la familia en este momento.
Any questions in Spanish?
Sé que están investigando con investigadores médicos y a partir de ahí van a dirigir la investigación hacia una parte u otra, pero el hecho de que sean dos bebés a la vez no puede ser que a lo mejor estuvieran expuestos a alguna condición al mismo tiempo, un gas, algo.
Todo va a depender de los resultados, por eso nosotros siempre venimos a la casa para investigar, tomamos fotos, las ventanas estaban abiertas, entonces estas cosas tomamos las fotos todo para prevenir las preguntas, pero todo va a ser condición los resultados.
¿Las ventanas de la habitación donde
Sí.
estaban los bebés estaban abiertas?
Sí.
Gracias.
Any other questions?
¿Son dos niños?
No sé si fue niñas o varoncitos, no podía decir.
¿Estaban en la misma cuna o
Ujú.
separadas?
En la misma cuna.
¿Cuál era la salud, la condición física de los bebés? ¿En qué salud estaban?
Solamente tenían 1 mes y en eso no sé.
Chief, thank you.
Yes.
Who called 911 and were the
The-
twins positioned in a way that they may have been smuggled into?
The father called 911 and he removed them from their original location and he brought, so I don't know. We don't know.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Do y'all see a problem with that? Y'all hear the inconsistency with that? The inconsistency was that they said in the autopsy that they were dehydrated, right? And yet, according to the police report, the babies had just been fed, right? Before they took the mother to work. The mother had priorly said that she did not wake the babies because she had to get to work. So it's like, okay, did y'all feed them or did you not feed them? Because these babies were malnourished and they were dehydrated as well. That's an inconsistency I found right there. These poor babies. If they did not want the poor babies, I feel sorry for the mother as well because she was with an abusive husband. It made me wonder if he was narcissistic and only keeping tight tabs on her. Is that why he insisted on taking her to work? Was he the main caregiver of the babies all the time? Like, did he work also? Now he's worried that he's going to have to spend the rest of his life in jail. But look at the babies. Because the baby's more worried about spending the rest of his life in jail than he is like, my poor babies, they died, right? My two newborn daughters. So there's been different occasions, 3 different occasions they found where these kids, they could spot times about with the autopsy when these kids, but one of the kids died from was hit in the head. But both of them had blood for front, um, died from brain injuries. These kids, do you hear some of the people saying, is there a way that these kids could have got down and got into something? These were 5 weeks. This is things are not adding up. If they ate something, like the police had said, that they ate something, they would not be dehydrated. That's just common sense right there. I know what I would have done if I would have knew my husband was abusing my kids, because I went through the abuse myself, right? If I had known that my husband was abusing them as well, I would have made sure to not ever bring them back over there to him. I would have made sure to contact, like when I was in, I went to an abused women's shelter. I took one of my kids with me because he wanted to go with me. I would have made sure and said, yeah, he abused them too. I would have made sure and said, look, he's not letting me feed him. Regardless of whether he's abusing me, but look at my kids. They're infants. They're always crying. They're hurt. They would have had to have injuries on their body, like bruises showing up also during these periods of time. Of course, these poor kids are going to be crying. You hurt them. Not alone that they cry, when they need milk or they might have a bellyache, they might be have a problem with the kind of milk they drink or whatever. They might need a different formula per se. We don't know all that, right? But it's no need for anybody to break a child's bones. The femur was broken, the hip bone, the ribs, head. And when I saw that video, with that first video, when it was scrolling through, it had a long list of injuries that autopsy guy did, doctor did. I'm sorry, I'm like trying to contain myself right now. So I want to thank y'all for coming. I got another show in a few minutes. I think I'm going to go ahead and go to that one and be waiting on it to start. Y'all please give thoughts, hearts to the family members of the innocent ones. But I don't care how, if she did not do it, if there's prior injuries to the children, that means she had to have knowledge of the abuse. She had to know, and she kept them kids in that environment. Well, thank you so much. Love you both. Thanks for coming. And the reason why I went ahead and kept letting it do the Spanish stuff, because if there's any Spanish speaking listeners that's a listener to that, they will understand and hear what was said. Lots of love for y'all. Thank y'all so much for giving them love, family members, and the friends. And the police officers and all these people that really helped and stood there. Can you imagine having to be a police officer or paramedic having to go in there and see these two dead children, these young kids? That's something you will never forget. That's going to always be haunting to you. I know it would me. Can you just imagine that devastation? Thoughts and prayers go with that, with all the people involved too. And thank you so much. And that had to be hard for that reporter to do, and I could tell that she was choked up as well. That news person, that police officer. God bless y'all. Thank you.